Alright guys, this is Zaxter99. Today I'm going to go ahead and talk about one thing that is definitely passionate to me, probably even more passionate than my passion for my video games, and that's pro football and my team, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I've put up with this many years, and to tell you the truth, I am absolutely sick and freaking tired. Okay? Sick and tired of Tony Romo getting bashed year after year after year. Comments from supposedly fans that say they watch football saying things like Tony Romo needs to go. The reason the Cowboys are losing or 8-8 every year is because of Tony Romo. You know, they need a new quarterback. I want to tell you, I'm absolutely sick of it. Okay? It's complete hogwash. The only reason the Cowboys have been 8-8 the last 3 seasons. Okay, the only reason the Cowboys are ever in contention to make a playoff spot, okay, is because of one guy on the team, and that's Tony Romo. If it wasn't for freaking Tony Romo on the Dallas Cowboys, you know, they'd be looking at 2-14, 3-13 kind of years. Okay, now a lot of people will look at the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, they don't have a good defense after last year, rated last in the NFL. But nobody looks at that. Nobody looks at the fact that the Cowboys are giving up all these points. You know, last year Dallas had a hell of a game against the Denver Broncos. I mean, who can forget it? I think it was 55-51 or 51-48, something like that. I'd have to go back and look at it. But it was just basically a shootout with the Denver Broncos. And all anybody can think about, all anybody can focus on is the interception that Tony Romo threw late. You know, they don't look at the fact that the defense let, the Broncos drive right down their throats and score another touchdown. They don't look at the fact that the defense allowed Denver to score the winning points, all the points that they scored. Okay, they don't look at the fact that Romo took them on what, 5 long touchdown drives in that game. That he had over 500 yards passing in that game. Okay? Nobody looks at that. Sure, you can say Tony Romo throws interceptions in critical games, in critical moments. I get that. Okay? But here's the thing, guys. No quarterback does it better in the NFL. You want to talk about fourth quarter comebacks, fourth quarter quarterback ratings in the fourth quarter when it matters? Let's talk about that. Okay? Let's pull up the stats here for career stats. This is among active players. Look at the quarterback ratings here in the fourth quarter. All right? This is on careers. Fourth quarter quarterback rating of all active quarterbacks. Look who's at the top. Tony Romo. And he's leading that quarterback rating over his career by more than 10 full points over the next person up there. That's Phillip Rivers. Number 2, 101.1 in the fourth quarter over his career. We're talking about 8 seasons, guys. 101.1 rating. So for everybody to say that he throws the ball away in the fourth quarter, you know, he squanders the fourth quarter, squanders leads, is complete hogwash. I don't know where you guys are getting your stuff. I understand you can only prove so much with stats. But all the naysayers do is continue to look at a handful of critical moments, critical situations, where Romo has thrown a bad pass or had a pass intercepted. They don't count the fact that Tony Romo's trying to win the game, that Tony Romo's out there trying to do things that, you know, because of receivers, young receivers not knowing the routes as it was a couple of years ago. You know, right in last year, they don't look at the fact that Romo's out there trying to compensate for the worst defense in the freaking NFL. All right? They never calculate any of that in. And here's another thing. Most people out there love Brett Favre. Brett Favre, a hell of an exciting quarterback. All right? And he is a phenomenal player. I don't want to take anything away from Brett Favre. But it's the same people that love Brett Favre that are on, you know, harping Tony Romo. All right? If you love Brett Favre, I don't see how you could not like Tony Romo. He's the same kind of quarterback. He's got the same kind of style. He is the same kind of guy that's trying to go out there and win the game. All right, he's a gunslinger, and he's exciting to watch. We've seen Tony Romo with the ball centered over his head 30 yards. He goes and gets it and makes 5 players miss and gets a first down. Runs 40 yards and gets first down. We've seen that, all right, a few years ago. We've seen Tony Romo dodge, tacklers and defenders 3-4 times in a play and throw a touchdown pass. We've seen that kind of thing over and over and over again, all right? In the last 3 seasons alone, Tony Romo has orchestrated 11 fourth-quarter comebacks to win the game, all right? Nobody else has done that. When you look at the quarterback rating in the fourth quarter, Tony Romo leads by a long margin over his career. And again, you guys that love Brett Favre that are continuing to try to squash Tony Romo, it's ridiculous. People that want to squash Tony Romo say he doesn't deserve the contract that Dallas gave him a couple years ago. All right? $100+ million contract that Tony Romo got. You're absolutely insane. If anything, Tony Romo probably deserves twice as much. Why? Because he's in Dallas. Nobody, no quarterback in the NFL is as highly criticized as the quarterback behind the Dallas Cowboys. No quarterback in NFL history that I know. I've been watching football ever since I was 6 years old. For 36 plus years, I've been watching football, and I don't think I've ever seen any quarterback ever as highly criticized as Tony Romo. When Dallas had complete losers for quarterbacks back in the early 2000s, Quincy Carter and Chad Hutchinson and all these other different names. I mean, who am I thinking of? Gary Hogeboom and all these other guys that were just complete crap quarterbacks. We didn't hear nothing about those guys. All right, but all we ever hear about week after week, critical moment after critical moment when Romo does make a mistake, that's all we hear about. And you guys keep track of, over his 8-year career, you keep track of 10, 12 games over 8 years where he's made a mistake, trying to do too much. And you think that defines his career. You're absolutely wrong. Okay? Romo cannot win a Super Bowl by himself. So those of you thinking that Romo can't, Romo has never won the playoff games, he's never won the big game, he can't do it by himself. If any of you guys are listening and you want to talk about Dallas Cowboys need to get rid of Tony Romo, I want you to tell me one quarterback that can come in and take the place of Romo now and do a better job. You guys think Brandon Weeden is seriously going to do a better job? And I've seen comments from a lot of football fans, supposedly, saying guys like, interesting names like Tim Tebow. Really? Are you freaking high? Tim Tebow is going to come in and do a better job than Tony Romo. Really? Okay? I can't believe that some of these people that leave these comments and talk about the football call themselves sports fans. Do they even watch the games? Do they even have a clue what the hell they're talking about? Okay? Absolutely insane. I just get sick and tired of hearing nothing but trash talk for the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. In fact, I want to go ahead and say something about my Dallas Cowboys team. There's a lot of talent across the team. You got Dez Bryant. You got getting some good offensive linemen now. Of course, you got like Jason Witten, Tyron Smith in the offensive line. Terrence Williams came on. But you know what? A lot of people would probably say the most talented, gifted player on the Cowboys right now is Dez Bryant. I'm not going to say that I'll argue with you on that. The guy is phenomenally gifted. But I'm going to say all around, head smarts, being a leader, okay, and being able to guide his team, being able to get up to an offensive line and get guys where they need to go, being headstrong, okay, and then having absolute phenomenal talent as well. I don't think there's a player on the Cowboys roster that's better than Tony Romo. And people talk about how he's overpaid, he doesn't deserve the contract and this kind of thing. It's absolutely just bullcrap, okay? You guys want to talk about quarterbacks out there with mental toughness, okay? You say that, a lot of people say that Romo is not a leader. Let's talk about games where he's been hurt, seriously hurt. Punctured lung, broken ribs against San Francisco a couple years back. He goes out there, leads his team from behind, okay, with his passing, mind you. This wasn't a running game that came back and won it. It was Tony Romo with punctured lungs and broken ribs. Continued to play through the pain and brought his team back to a win. How about last season? Game number 16. Okay? His back that he had to have surgery on after getting tackled wrong and getting up wrong from that game. Excruciating pain. And Romo continues to play the full game, comeback win against his division rival, Washington Redskins. Unfortunately, he had to have surgery. He wasn't able to play the final game of the season. If he would have, I believe, without a doubt, Romo would have came through and beat the Eagles. Okay, something that Orton wasn't able to do. But I believe Romo, if he had been in that game, if he hadn't been hurt, he would have won that game. No doubt in my mind that if Romo had played, the Cowboys would have won that game and went to the playoffs. Would they have went very far in the playoffs? Hell no. Probably not. They probably would have got embarrassed again. But it's not Romo's fault. It's really not Romo's fault. And you people that think it's Romo's fault every freaking game, you basically, if you seriously think that, you need to hang it up, stop watching football, certainly stop talking football because you don't know a damn thing. All right? And shut the hell up. All right? Because if you can't realize that Tony Romo is one of the most talented, gifted quarterbacks in the NFL, and he has been for a long time, then you don't know a damn thing about football. Simple as that. I'm not going to say that Romo is the best quarterback ever. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is right now, he is a phenomenal quarterback, and he deserves every dollar when you compare other quarterback contracts in the NFL that he's received. There is no quarterback that's going to come into Dallas and do a better job. In fact, what if we was to switch quarterbacks, all right, with Russell Wilson up in Seattle? Put Romo up on the Seattle team, put Russell Wilson down on the Cowboys with the atrocious defense they had last year. What do you think would have happened to Wilson last year with that kind of defense? I want you to think about that. I'll bet you anything that suddenly all the naysayers for Tony Romo, if Romo was sitting on the Seattle team, and with the leadership and the coaching that Seattle has, I bet you Romo would shine. I bet you anything Romo would shine like he never has. All right? And when the Seattle Seahawks won a Super Bowl with Romo, maybe people would shut the hell up about him at that point. You know, even if he was to swap teams, though, with any quarterback, whether it be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or anything like that, you know, I might, at some points, you know, if I was behind the Cowboys, if that trade opportunity came up to trade for Peyton Manning, sure, it would be tempting. Absolutely. But there's no guarantee that Peyton Manning would be able to come in to the Dallas Cowboys and have the kind of success he's had with Indianapolis and now with Denver. The simple fact is, guys, that Tony Romo is the best man for the job in Dallas. He gives the Cowboys the best chance of winning, especially with that defense. He's a gunslinger. He has the ability to make things happen out of completely nothing. He does it all the time, over and over and over again. Sure, he's going to make mistakes. When you're trying to overcompensate for young receivers, for offensive linemen that aren't blocking, and you got guys in your face, as he's had for several years, when you're trying to compensate for all these things for a defense that's worse than the league, you're going to make mistakes trying to win the game and try to pull your team to a win or even stay close in a game that you should be completely out of. That's going to happen. And if you guys can't realize that, then you're basically idiots. Now, what I want you guys to do, anybody that's listening to this that agrees with me, please comment below. Let me know that you agree with me. Let me know you completely, understand where my frustration is coming from here and my passion for the Cowboys. You're a Cowboys fan? You agree? Post it below, please. Also, give my video here a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with other sports fans you know. Even if your friend's favorite team is, the Eagles or whoever. Go ahead and send them this video. See what they think about it. I want their comments here. All right? I want to challenge you guys to comment below. Tell me what you seriously think. All right? And I'm not going to delete your comment if you comment that you honestly believe that Tim Tebow could come in and do a better quarterback job for the Cowboys. If that's what you think, or whoever it is that you think could come in that Dallas could get, you think Braden Whedon's a better quarterback or do a better job, comment that below. Whatever it is, as long as you honestly feel it, put it down in your comments below. I'm not going to delete that stuff. Now, if you're just simply trolling to troll, yeah, If I believe you're simply trolling, I'm going to delete your comment. All right? But I'm not going to delete your comment just for trashing me or if you don't agree with me, that kind of thing. But go ahead. I want your comments down below. I want you to share this video. I want you to rate this video. And I want you to subscribe to me as well, especially if you're a Cowboys fan. Because at this point, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start covering the Dallas Cowboys with a passion I have for them. I've had this passion for a long time. I'm going to start letting you guys know when I'm pissed off, the Cowboys lose, whatever it is, I'm going to let you know what my emotions and my feelings are. So if you're a Cowboys fan, you might want to tune into me because I can get pretty fired up. I know I was pretty fired up after that game last year between Dallas and Denver. And then when Dallas lost the game against the Packers in that close game, that hurt. Okay. But I want this to be a place. I want my channel, Zaxter99, to be a place where Cowboy fans can gather, leave comments, kind of talk about it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I leave a video every single Cowboys game this season. All right, as well as more videos like this one where I just talk about whatever I'm pissed off about as far as the NFL, whatever it is. Okay, I've already done a couple of videos on Dez Bryant. I've done a video on Kyle Orton and why Dallas cut him, why they took the over $3 million loss to cut him. So I'm going to start being passionate and showing my passion for my Cowboys right here on my channel. So go ahead and be sure you tune in. I want to thank you guys for watching this. If you've basically watched and listened to this whole thing, absolutely thank you. I want your support. All right, if you can give me your support, go ahead and subscribe to my video. Comment below whatever your feelings are. And I do want to go ahead and thank you for watching. This has been Zaxter99.